go, go.
Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. So it is January 2019 and this is my first video of the year, and my lovely sister bought me this beautiful halo light, which you might be able to see. Usually can you usually see it in your eyes? Let me know what you think of the lighting quality. So I'm quite tanned, but do I look like a ghost? Do I look super pasty? I can't really tell, let me know. Okay, so today we're going to be taking a studio tour. And so I moved into my house 3 years ago with my partner, and he didn't build it. I had a log cabin built as my office, because we've only got a small 2-bed house, and if I'd taken over the spare bedroom, he would have gone crazy, I'm sure. Before this, I had a unit that I rented at the local industrial estate just over there, and I was there for two years, a year and a half, or maybe just a year, I'm not sure. Before that I had some space in my dad's office. Very kindly gave me a room that I could work from when I was living at home. So it was kind of a no-brainer having a log cabin or a professional studio, obviously, because it costs the same amount as the rent for a year over at that unit. So it kind of made sense just to work from home. Super convenient, get to just roll out of bed. Yeah, it's pretty damn cool. I'm very lucky and very blessed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you around my studio now, but I did paint it and sort of rearrange furniture and buy a few new things. At the end of September, I took a week off to sort of jazz it up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert the video in a minute of, I don't think I filmed during painting. It was kind of before and what I was going to do and how it was looking then. And then then we're going to come back and I'm just going to show you around my studio and show you a few things that have worked for me, a few things I'd like to change that haven't worked so far. Okay, so let's go over to that video now. Hey everyone, welcome to my absolutely disgusting office. So today I am finally painting it. So I've had it for 3 years and I've literally done nothing to it. So I moved into it from an office down the road, and I literally just put all my furniture into the room and I've done nothing. So yeah, mission today, paint the walls, paint the floors. I have got a really nice purple paint for the floor and a white paint for the walls, and I'm just going to show you around in a minute, but it's absolutely hideously disgusting at the moment, so excuse the mess, but hopefully we'll get some good before and after pictures. Okay, so here we are in my office. Like I said, totally minging at the moment. And I mean, the lights look really bad. They're not looking very good on my camera, which is just my phone, so that's probably not very good either. So I'll show you around properly later, hopefully when it's all done. But, so those are sort of like all my fashion and costume and pattern making books. My table, which is horrible because I have just been dyeing a load of fabric. This is just a bit of it. And so I haven't tidied up from then, but I thought I'd wait because obviously I'm going to do the whole thing. So, or rather, I'm going to tidy the whole studio. So I'm not going to bother tidying it from last time. So I've got a rug on the floor, which is gross too, because I've had it for 5 years and it's got, pretty tatty, and it's only cheap. And this is where I dye some fabric. And this is my office, which is really bad. Printer on top of a box. Yeah, so that's basically it. Okay, so this is my studio now. And so that is my desk area there. Sorry if it's really wonky, I'm holding this tripod. So I went to the gym this morning, my arm's absolutely killing, so I'm feeling a bit weak. So this is, so that's where that's where my beautiful dog likes to sit and look out the window, but she mainly sits in my chair there. And so it's an IKEA chair, so most of the stuff here is from IKEA, and I probably should have sourced a few more things secondhand, I mean, I would in the future, but I guess you learn from these things, don't you? And IKEA is really quick and convenient, and I guess that's why lots of people go there. Okay, so what I have is, so it's 3 IKEA units here. And so what we did is we just went to a local DIY shop and we got some, it's not ply, I can't remember what it's called. Or maybe it is ply, no I don't think it is. So we had a piece cut to size here just to make the desk a bit bigger because it was quite narrow. So it's kind of, there's a hollow in the back basically, so there's more room for me to work here. And on my desk I just have my chalkboard, which isn't great. It doesn't rub out very well. And then I have my plant from IKEA, an origami cactus or cacti that my sister got me for my birthday or Christmas years and years and years ago. And then obviously my computer, and I've got a Himalayan salt lamp, and I've got another one in the house. I enjoy the colour. I think it's really pretty, whether you believe the things that people say it does, but I'm kind of into that sort of stuff. So on the left hand side here are my files for my tax returns and things like that, all the boring stuff. And then at the top there are a few cubby holes. So the first one has a few stationery things. What's it got in there? So pens and pencils, and I got a silk painting kit and some masking tape for pattern drafting, and a few things for a few laundry things I don't tend to use, so sort of stain removes and things just in case I need them for the wedding dresses I work on. And then in the second one is a few embroidery bits, and then I've got a succulent plant here, a gorgeous picture of myself and my best friend that I got for Christmas, and some sort of silk fabric flowers that I made, which don't look great. And some spotlights that I got from IKEA and installed. And then on the top is just some just some frames that I haven't used yet. My cricket or cry cut, whatever you want to call it, that I got for Christmas a few years ago. And I have a plant here that I potted up from the mother plant, I guess you'd call it, and then a macrame pot hanger that I made, which was really fun. I need to do a bit more, it was really fun. I do like trying out new things. And then on the right hand side I just have my printer and my diffuser and sort of fashion and costumey books here, and a few fabric samples here. And right, so I got this plant from IKEA, and I'm a gardener and I should know better. So when it says it needs to be a certain temperature and it needs a certain amount of light, and then I leave it in a cold room that doesn't have great light, obviously it's not doing so well. It doesn't look very happy. I think it's going to die. And whether I should let it die, I probably shouldn't, should I? I want to be less wasteful, so I should try and revive it. So I think I might bring that one into the house. That would be a good idea, although the house isn't very big. Let's see. Anyway, I got a couple of pictures on here from Redbubble. So they're sort of celestial pictures, and the frames are from Next, and that frame is from Amazon, I think, and it's just sort of like the lunar phases. But I'm kind of into that stuff as well. I'm into a lot of stuff. Multi-passionate, as they call it. And then up here, I'm just going to tilt you to the roof, is a dream catcher that I got for Christmas from my friend. And on the floor, I have an IKEA rug, which now that I've painted the floor purple, which we'll talk about in a minute, I'm not really feeling this rug. It's not funky enough for me, so I'd like to pop this one in the house and then maybe eventually buy another one. I'm not sure. Okay, so let me just chat about the paint really quickly. So on the floor here I have a plum, and on the walls is just a white. So I bought Earthborn paints, so they're slightly more eco-friendly. They're clay-based and not oil-based. They're a bit more expensive, and it took me absolute labour of love painting this floor. I love the colour, but if you look, it is scratched everywhere, and it took so long to paint. So whether I should have varnished it, or maybe not. I don't know if that's very eco-friendly. And then it is scratched again over here. So some of it is my fault because I've tried to move units on my own when nobody's been here. And I guess the rest is just general wear and tear, but it took so bleeding long to do. But anyway, I'm going to touch it up again soon. Right, so with my work, I specialise in bridal, but mainly bridal alterations, and I need a space that accommodates brides for fittings. And it was also my brain, so what I would love to do eventually, my dream, or one of my dreams, is to set up a sewing school. And so towards the end of last year, I promoted a couple of workshops, and I sort of set up enough space to have 3 people in with me to run workshops. And the idea is that these tables from IKEA, and my lovely dining room tables and the cushion covers I made with more IKEA fabric, it's like IKEA mad, they're drop leaf, so they'll fold down, but I'll show you this in a minute. They'll fold down, and then this rug slides over into that corner there. And here is my changing room rail. So what I will do is when I don't have workshops, I will pop the curtains back up, but it's kind of easier when they're not there. It makes it feel a bit more spacious. So these are curtains from IKEA. So I've got loads of different fabrics, and I've just sewn them together just to make them kind of patchwork or stripy, although it's kind of on a diagonal, just to jazz those up a bit more as well. And this one here is just for, is it a tablecloth? Tablecloth that I got from, not IKEA, gosh, not IKEA for once. Got from Oxfam. And I thought it was really cool. So if I come a bit closer, I thought the pattern was really pretty, and I think it looks really effective. And yeah, so I put that one on the wall. And the sewing machines I went for, so my budget wasn't huge, so I've gone for 3 John Lewis mechanical 110s or 110s, and so far they seem pretty good. So whether I do a review on them, my main sewing machine is a Bernina 800L, and it was way more expensive, much heavier. I guess, well, it must be better quality, I hope it is, but I'm going to use these myself, and I'd quite like to do a review and just sort of compare a lower priced mechanical with a slightly pricier one. Okay, and then I have just over here is where I have all my fabric on that side there and that side there, super messy. The thing is, it's like the more fabric you get, I'm just running out of space, and I have a unit, some storage outside, which I will show you in a minute. So if we move over here, these are more units from, guess, IKEA, and I have fabric on the top. So on the top, that's where I keep my sewing machines, but at the moment I've got some fabric that I picked up from my local scrap store that I used at Christmas, and then it's just loads of fabric, my apron, my tower of bins for recycling and paper and general waste, and my mannequin here, which was an absolute steal. So it's a more plan mannequin, and I know the Kennett and Lindell, they're really expensive, and the more plans are slightly more affordable, but really expensive too. And my partner found this on Facebook Marketplace, and the lady was selling it for £20 and it wasn't used, and I think they retail, I don't know, maybe like 500, 600, 800, I'm not sure, I need to look it up, or maybe less, 400. I thought that was pretty damn good. I was really impressed with that. And then in the corner there, I just have a few rolls of fabric and my Norman Rockwell print on the wall there. And on my mannequin, I just kind of put anything. So I've got a few lights and a fascinator that I made for a wedding maybe 3 years ago, no, 2 years ago, quite a while ago. And so underneath these units here is basically where I put most of my crap or things that won't fit into drawers. So it's kind of a box of crafty things, sort of paints, and that box I took into a school for a workshop. So it's kind of, yeah, miscellaneous, all odds and sods. And then in here is, if I can open it one-handed. So on this side, I have ribbons over here and buttons. So this button tin, old school, is, my granddad gave it to me, and it's got loads of buttons that they've collected, or he's collected over the years, because he's a bit of a hoarder. which comes in handy sometimes, and I like to put mine in there too. And then in here I just have some ribbons, bridal ivory ribbons and lace and things I use for work, and some horsehair or crin. And then on this side I have a tub full of zips and a few zips I recently picked up from my scrap store, which was a real steal because they weren't that expensive. You just pay for a bag. And then I have a batik kit here that hey, go away door. Close, open, close, open, close. A batik kit here that I got from Aldi or Lidl. And then I've got a few, so this is my stash of beads for when I bead, and then sort of my hot fix gun for a few bridal jobs I do. And then in here is just a few stencils and my macrame cord. Okay, and that's kind of it really. So I wish there was a way that you can neatly fold, or not neatly fold, the fabric would stay neat because it's so messy up here. And well, basically it's my fault, isn't it? I've got too much on there. I can only blame myself. And then, so if we move over to this side, excuse the mess on my table. So I am finally finishing, or trying to finish, a wall hanging that I'm making for a local school. And that is basically all the fabric that I've dyed and just bits that I need to put it together. And I have here a lovely thermometer which says it's 20, beautiful temperature, that I got, my sister bought me from Spain, a little village called Mija. And then I got some old bunting that I made ages and ages and ages ago for a craft fair, and just some lights strung across there. And then that's my fluorescent or neon, I don't know what you'd call it, light that I picked up from a local sort of independent gift shop, which has got really nice stuff in it. It was really good at Christmas. We got quite a few things, me and my sister, for my family. And then this is my pin board, and I've just got my French curve and seam gauge and some embroidery scissors. I do have another pair, but they're in the house. I can't find them, or I haven't really looked, but they're in the house. And I've got a tape measure here, and then just loads of scissors. So the really long ones I use they're wallpaper scissors, but I use them for pattern drafting. And then I've got pinking shears, and then a couple of dressmakers scissors. So I bought a few more for my workshops, because all my old scissors, which are down here in this pot, they're totally rubbish, and I've sharpened them, but they're still pretty crap. They're only cheap. And that is one of my two heaters. So it's an electric heater, and in this room it's really cold without any heating on. But the thing with electric heaters, or I find, is it's either really hot and then it gets really cold. It's really hard to regulate the temperature. And so this is my nice big table that I use to cut on and sew on. So I got it. So I got this when I first set everything up, so 5 years ago, just over 5 years. And I think it's from a school, a company that sells tables and things to schools, but it's a really good size. And these are the stores that I bought from Argos for my workshops, which are quite reasonable. And so yeah, ignore all the rubbish here. Ignore this crap, and then, or ignore this rubbish. And then this is my sewing box that I got for Christmas from my partner's mum, which is super good, super good. And it's got loads of compartments. Let me just open them up and try not to spill everything everywhere. So it's pretty handy. And in this one I have my machine needles and machine feet and things. And then on that side is sort of my tailor's chalk and basically like my haberdashery things. It's just like poppers and all sorts in there. And my pins are in these. I won't try and close that with one hand. My pins are in this tin here, which is an old chocolate tin, which was quite cool because it has a ladybird on it. And so, like I said, my sewing machine is a Bernina 800L. And the reason I use the Berninas is basically we just always use them at college and university, and they seem really good, and I've heard they're sort of like workhorses, so I thought I'd go for them, and I was used to them, so it's kind of easy for me really. I didn't have to think much, but it's been really good. So I've had it for 5 years. Did I get it? No, 5 years, and I haven't had it serviced, which I probably should do. But I've heard people say that they get them serviced and they're not the same again, so I'm kind of afraid to do it. And then over here is my overlocker, which is a all these letters, all these numbers. Is it 1150 or 1150 or who knows, MDA, which is handy. So I use that all the time to finish off hems and things with my alterations work. And so underneath the table here, I have my trusty Henry Hoover, my halo light that I used at the beginning of the video that my sister bought me for Christmas, and another IKEA unit which has got, so it's kind of odds and sods I think in the top one. So these are the pens that I used at university for designing, although I'm not very good at drawing, and at college when I did my fashion course. So my polystyrene head that I used to make a fascinator, and a few, so I made these zips and stips, these purses for a craft fair ages and ages ago, and I didn't really sell many, and then I never tried again, whether I should have or not. But yeah, I've got loads of those that'll probably be there forever. And then in here is just a few patterns. So if anyone's got any tips of how to store your patterns, I guess I could hang them from the wall, but a lot of them are paper, so I should probably fold them up neatly and put them in envelopes, but I haven't done that. And then this one is sort of my paper craft drawer, so it's got glue and scissors and my cry cut mats and envelopes and just, yeah, papery bits. And then this one here is more kind of, yeah, just stuff. So a frame that I haven't used yet, a box frame that I need to use. And then these are just sort of my freehand machine embroideries that I used to do quite a few. So I did that one at Christmas, and I put it on a few Christmas cards. So I don't know if you can focus in on that, but it's polar bears on the world. And what else have I got in here? That's a big one. So that's one I did ages ago as well, which is just like a windy day theme, autumnal thing that I did. But I mean, I did these years and years ago, but I really like freehand machine embroidery. It's super fun and it's quite creative. Yeah, a lot of people say it's like drawing with your needle or fabric or stitching, but super fun to do. And with this unit here, much the same as the other one, is a load of fabric. So all of the reds, I got tons more fabric from my local scrap store just before Christmas to make stockings and things. So I'm just trying to shove it all on there, but you can see that I'm not particularly tidy. And on the top, I've got more fabric scraps in that box, and in this box here is just sort of threads that are completely colour coordinated, but blues, reds, pinks, greens, and then sort of neutrals. And on here, this is my little button drawer, which has loads of buttons which I use to bustle dresses. Basically, that's all my bridal stuff. And my toolbox here that I used to use, or we were asked to take for college, and that's just got pins and like surplus. What else is in there? Like self-cover buttons and jean buttons and yeah, all that sort of stuff. And then in this drawer is similar to the other one, in that it's hiding all of my rubbish. So I have got in this one loads, all my overlocker threads. And at the back there are my sulky threads, but I tend to use for my bridal stuff. And then in here is bust cups. There are bodkins and things in this one, and bias binding and elastic and old modesty panels and I don't know, all sorts, and loop turners and knitting needles, my boning, and then this is just a jar of pins that I collect when I work on dresses and have things left over. And underneath is a really old, that I need to do something with, that has really scratched the floor. Can you see that there? My poor floor. A really old overlocker that I actually won when I was at college. So last year of college, I won were there 3 awards, so I won like the sewing award. So there's like an overall for best designer and maker that I didn't get because I can't design, and then I got best sewing, so I won this overlocker, which is pretty cool. But that is really old, so I mean, how old is that? Maybe like 10 years old, so I need to do something with that. And there is so over in this corner, which is a bit sparse, is my roll of garment bags, which I don't want to use anymore because they're plastic, but I've had those since I set up my small sewing company, Frock and Mole, 5 years ago, so they have lasted ages, but I don't really want to use them. And my pattern paper here, which again I've had for 5 years, and has lasted ages because I got a massive one, and I would like to fix it to the wall, but yeah, everything might come crashing down because it's pretty heavy, and I'm not sure if the walls could take it, or even if there's space in here. And then that's just my Henry Hoover adjustment, and a few cards in this corner here, and my electric meter and my alarm. And so this is my sewing ironing area, and I've got a large Philips ironing board, which is really good. Nice and sturdy and pretty wide. And look at all those cables, jungle of cables. So if anyone's got any suggestions for how to keep them tidy, whether I can do a cable tidy or something, whatever that is, I'll check out Pinterest. And this is my steam generating iron. So I had one before, and I got this one 2 years ago, year and a half ago, because my last one broke, and it's pretty good. I had a few problems with it recently, with it sort of leaking, but it seems to work now, which is like a running theme, because my computer, I don't know if it's 'cause it's cold out here, seems to band for like a week, and then it fixes again, and it's been fine for about 3 weeks, and then it will do it again, and then my iron's the same. But they seem to work when I need them to. So whether that's spooky or the universe knowing, who knows. And then here is my tailor's ham, and then my trouser or shoulder press that I use for small sewing, ironing jobs and sewing jobs. So sometimes I bead on this. And that is my lovely clock from a local charity shop, not IKEA, hey hey. And my blinds, which on this side, you can't see now because I've tried to make them look neat for you, but because they're by the door and they get trapped in the door all the time, they're looking pretty scruffy. And then, so, really messy garden, but recently I bought these 2 rubber non-slip mats because the decking is super slippery. And I slipped over on the ice. I didn't hurt myself. I just did a really good split, almost. So I got those, so I don't want any clients to fall over, not good. And then on the floor here is, oh my God, another IKEA item. So an IKEA rug, and then on top is an offcut that I got from the scrap store. And so that is kind of it really. What I would like to do in here is, so I did have bunting that ran along these beams for Christmas, so I'd like to make some more because it kind of jazzed the room up a bit. And then over here, if hopefully I'm lucky enough to do a few more workshops, I'd quite like to pop a whiteboard there. And what else would I like to do? I like to have a few more things, a few more hooks for my pinboard, and more space for my fabric. So whether I get rid of these items in here, or not get rid of them, move them onto my desk, and then I can use these for fabric here. And then the same with these files, whether I can sneak them into the house without my partner knowing, and then use these slots here for fabric as well, just to make everything a bit more neat, and so I can get to it. Oh, and I forgot to mention, I've got a filing system here that's from IKEA that I use to pop my tax returns and receipts and things in. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you what the studio looks like when my fitting space is up. So I will be back in just one moment. Okay, so ta-da, that is my makeshift dressing room. So yeah, basically I've just moved the carpet over, and these are 2 curtains that come over like this and like this, and then basically it just looks like that. So that's the little section that they can get changed in. Before I had the changing room slash shower curtain poles. I had some folding screens, is that what you call them? Room divider sort of things that I used here, and then I used at the last two units or rooms or studios or offices that I had. But these are much easier because they take up way less space. And I have, yes, from IKEA again, I have these curtain loops, which are, so you can detach these, hence why they're super creased, because they were just folded up in my fabric pile, but it just means that you have a bit more space. And so when I have nobody in at all, I can take down the curtains, and I have this space here again. Hello, hello, hello. In my Crocs, check out the sexy Crocs, hey? Yeah, so this is kind of the changing room area, and above this tablecloth slash wall hanging, I have just a curtain hook. And that's kind of it really, kind of a really basic setup. Obviously those tables weren't there before, but hopefully customers won't mind. I mean, I could even, because there's a small shelf, maybe I could put something on there to make it a bit prettier. And yeah, so that is the changing room. And that kind of concludes the tour really. Yeah, this is it so far. I think what I would like is a bit more and so this kind of concludes the tour. I think what I would like to do is just introduce a bit more colour, because I really like colour, and since painting it white from when you saw it last time, when it was just the natural colour of wood, brown, it wasn't very it didn't feel quite so sparse, so I think the bunting might make a difference up there, like I mentioned. But yeah, so this is my studio. Super lucky to have it. I love it so much. And yeah, it's kind of like my little retreat away from everything else. And yeah, cool. Hi everyone. So that was my lovely studio. Hopefully you love it as much as I do. If there's anything you saw that you think I can improve on, or sort of any storage ideas and solutions, any hacks would be super, super helpful, just so I can make the most of my space here, because it always feels like I don't have enough space when I'm really lucky to have such a good sized studio. Yeah, so if you can just like and subscribe, check out my other videos. There should be some more interesting ones coming up. So I'm going to do a few show and tells, show you a few of the things that I don't make but would like to make for myself in the effort to be a bit more eco-friendly and sustainable. So that's kind of already how I kind of align myself. I'm quite a natural person, and I like to be conscious of the planet and people around us. So this year is a year for me to actually make my own clothes, because I tend to find trying to buy sustainable and sort of organic certified clothing is really expensive. And why did I not think of making it myself? I'm such an idiot. I mean, that's what I was trained to do. So that is my New Year's resolution, to make my wardrobe for the year. Maybe not to buy anything. I wonder if I can do that. I don't tend to buy a lot of clothes, so maybe that can be my my challenge for the year, to make all of my own things and not to buy anything. But yeah, any suggestions on that, let me know. Any videos that you'd like to see me do, let me know again. Yeah, always looking for new ideas, so yeah, hit me up. Okay, I will see you in my next video, everyone. Bye.